Okay. Hey, everybody. Good morning. It's Bruce here with Traveling with Bruce, TWB, on Christmas Eve, December the 24th, early in the morning here, my time. I wanted to go live again today on another breaking news story. You're probably not hearing this. You may or may not
I
be hearing
wanted
about
to.
this. I'm not sure if you're getting this news, but I thought I'd bring it to you because from time to time, certain entities don't reveal news that they aren't proud of, say, revealing. And cruise lines are just like anyone else. They don't want to talk about bad news, and if they do and they have to reveal bad news, they kind of want to do it at the moment where the fewest people catch it, especially mass media. And I have a couple of breaking news stories that came out again in the last 12 to 24 hours that I thought I'd bring to your attention regarding the cruise business. And, boy, we want to go cruising so bad and we can't. Anyway, here is the latest. I'm now hearing from Royal Caribbean and now from Carnival. There are two stories now breaking on both of those lines again. We just had news yesterday. Now we have news again. The story is that in the case of Royal Caribbean, we have been following this ship right here, the Odyssey of the Seas. We know that the ship was denied entry to Aruba, Curacao. They're heading back right now to Florida. They're now just off the coast of Cuba. And I think they're going to stay at sea and return back in Miami day after tomorrow as scheduled, I believe. We are aware that this ship, the Jewel of the Seas, where we thought there were 6 cases on board, no official confirmation. Now we're hearing 14 cases on board, 10 passengers, 4 crew. Only crew members are relaying this information to family and friends back home. The cruise line has not said a word. We're finding out that more and more of the entire Royal Caribbean brand ship line is experiencing positive cases right now as I am talking to you. These ships that I'm going to name off to you have, according to the CDC, have positive cases of COVID on board right now. This is Royal Caribbean, starting with Adventure of the Seas, the Allure of the Seas, the Anthem of the Seas, the Brilliance of the Seas, the Explorer of the Seas, the Freedom of the Seas, the Harmony of the Seas. We have Independence of the Seas, Jewel of the Seas, Liberty of the Seas, Mariner of the Seas. You see her right there. Navigator of the Seas, right beside her. Oasis of the Seas, obviously the Odyssey of the Seas, Serenade of the Seas, and Symphony of the Seas. We have got case after case after case and ship after ship after ship that are now it's obvious that COVID has overtaken the entire brand here at Royal Caribbean. This is completely happening. When you see photos like this, these are the old days. This is before COVID. Even with restrictions and limitations, the problem is that it gets worse. Now, the news today, more news out of Royal Caribbean, and it's the title of my show. They have stopped taking bookings. They are not accepting any new bookings now for the next couple of weeks. The story goes, and again, the cruise line is trying to put the best spin on it they can. They're saying stuff like, well, we're in the interests of passenger safety, we're going to limit the capacity of the cruise ship. We're going to limit the number of passengers that are on board the ship at any one time, and so we're going to restrict bookings for cruises right at the moment. You want to read between the lines? Here's where I'm coming from. I just rattled off at least 16 ships that have COVID on board right now, and the numbers are exploding. People are getting on the ships COVID free, theoretically, and then 2 days later they test, 3 days later they test. and the virus shows up. That's because it's been brewing inside of us. This COVID new Omicron variant is everywhere. It's like a common cold, 17 times more faster to spread. There are people who have it, don't know they have it. Passengers don't know they had it when they got on the ship. They didn't know they had it when they left their house. They didn't know they didn't know where they caught it. Did they catch it on the way to the airport, at the airport, in an airplane, in the airport when they got off the airplane, in the taxi cab, in the bus? Did they catch it at the hotel? That before the cruise? Did they catch it when they were waiting to get on the cruise? Did they catch it from passengers who had been cleared with them that had the virus, didn't test for it, didn't pick up on the test? When did they get? We don't know. It's just out there. And so Royal Caribbean is basically, I think, being told by the CDC, you have to limit your numbers. We want you down. You've got too many bookings. And what's been happening here with the cruise lines, and this is just like the airlines and any other business out there, these folks are here to make money, okay? They love you, and they like you, and they want you to come back as a customer. But here's the bottom line, kids. These are businesses that are here to make a buck. And in the cruise line business, they are 60 to 70 billion dollars further in debt today than they were 2 years ago with bank loans to stay alive. And they have got Wall Street breathing down their necks to get them results, financial results. And that means book your ships and get people on board spending money. And the cruise lines are battling all kinds of problems. Cruise credits, got to be 20 million of them at least that they're trying to honor. Cruise pricing problems, and testing, and the virus out of control. And we're finding now that more and more European countries are restricting travel. More and more more and more tourists are canceling trips to Florida, to California, to wherever because of the virus. And so cruise lines are finding cancellations are just are rising. I mean, they're everything there, so their numbers are dropping. And now the CDC is on their back saying, guys, even with you guys going at 40%, 50, 60, 70% capacity, you've got COVID all over the place. 55 cases on Odyssey, 48 on Symphony, 14 now on Jewel. This is just Royal Caribbean. We know Carnival has the same problem. We know that other cruise lines like MSC has problems with the COVID. No one can stop it. It is not a cruise line issue as far as one cruise line versus another. This is the world in which we live. And so Royal Caribbean right now has stopped all bookings. And I have no idea what to tell you guys. If you're thinking of going on a cruise, hoping to book a cruise, wondering, can you go on a cruise? The other issue that you're having to deal with as a passenger, you don't know if whatever cruise line you book with, whatever ship you book on, there are no guarantees whatsoever where you're going to end up on your trip. The cruise line might be offering you an itinerary from point A to B to C to D to E to F, but the actual trip you're going to be on, you have no idea what you're going to get because there is no guarantee you're going to be allowed to get to St. Martin. They're already thinking of shutting down. St. Thomas, Puerto Rico, Nassau. I mean, the Cayman Islands won't reopen. They don't want it. Certain countries are desperate for the cash, just like the cruise lines, desperate for your money, and they will tolerate infection rates. They will tolerate inconveniences. They'll do the calculated risk assessments and try to figure it out. Other island nations in the Caribbean are going, no damn way are we allowing anyone from any ship to get off and be over here. We're not going to bother with it. So there's a lot of that going on as well. It is a really scary scenario here. Frustrating. It's overwhelming everyone. And while all this is happening, the airlines are bugging the administration to loosen up restrictions. The hotels want to loosen it up. It's a complete dichotomy of one versus the other because it's business. It's nothing personal. It's business. Just heard today also that in Orlando, Universal Studios has just mandated as of today, masks must be worn outdoors on property and all indoor venues to join Disney. They're going full masking completely. How much fun is it going to be with a couple of your kids trying to keep those masks on those kids while you're running around having a great time? Not a good combination. News from Carnival. The news out of Carnival is that, and this is kind of interesting. Carnival has announced that they are going to um, postpone. They're calling it a postponement of crew transfers. You want to read between the lines of what this really means. Carnival has figured out, just like every other cruise line, they remember how quickly things shut down for everybody everywhere. And that included cruise lines not being able to be allowed to transfer their crew from the Philippines to their ships, or from their ships back home to either Indonesia, the Philippines, India, wherever these folks come from. And the Carnival people have figured out, geez, if we allow crew to leave our ships to go home for the holidays, we may not be able to get them back to our ships in January or February, because it could be another shutdown is coming from certain countries just as quickly as we saw shutdowns happen in Africa that just completely cut off cruise lines from their employees. And so the cruise line has decided, we're not going to allow existing staff off of our ships right now because we don't know how long we can hang on to them. And we're going to extend their contract at the moment by 1 month. And let's see how this kind of works out. And so ships, do not be surprised if all cruise lines will do exactly the same thing. They're going to find a way to try to keep their staff on board longer so that they don't lose them. And the transfers are telling the folks who are already offshore, again, they're at home in the Indonesia, the Philippines, India, China, wherever they're working, wherever they're coming in from. And I'm talking about the staff that does all that grunt work for us, that just makes that vacation for us just work out. These are the folks that are being restricted, and they're being told to stay home. They're not being brought in because the cruise lines are not interested in playing the 10-day, 14-day quarantine game for every employee. It's impossible. It's extremely expensive. The other problem is the cruise lines don't want to have a scenario where rules change halfway through the game and employees that are coming over all of a sudden can't make it. They can't be allowed in and will be restricted coming in. No matter how much of the testing you want to do, there's just no guarantee that Carnival knows for sure. They just don't know for sure whether or not they can get their staff into a place like New York or out of New York or LA or Miami or wherever. And so for those of us on ships, we're having enough fun trying to get to cruise ships and back. You can imagine the logistics from a third world location that is happening here. We're hearing this morning on the news other info about problems here, and one of them is airlines are now canceling flights, hundreds of them. I think Lufthansa has canceled dozens and dozens of transatlantic flights, not because of the passengers getting ill, no, not because of non-booking, no, because the crew members of Lufthansa are testing positive for the virus and are now on 5 and 10-day and 14-day lockdowns. They are running out of crew, healthy crew. This is a virus that doesn't care who you are, what you do, where you live, what you believe, what you worship. It doesn't care. It's going to find a host and enjoy itself. And now we're finding out and hearing of a number of airlines who are announcing cutbacks in service. We've heard United, American already. We know about JetBlue, now Lufthansa. Do not be surprised if thousands of flights in the next weeks start getting canceled simply because there aren't enough crew members to man the planes themselves. And it's not just on board your plane. It's not like, oh, they can't find 4 flight attendants. Oh, no, that's not it. It's the pilots, and it's also the ground crew, and it's the crew in the terminals. We're talking about all airlines. They're all struggling with the fact that their employees are coming down with the virus. And there are anti-vaxxers in the airline business, just like there are anti-vaxxers in every walk of life. And so this virus has a field day to find saps to come and invade and then host and live in for a while and create all kinds of havoc. And this is affecting all the spin-offs from this area. So you can imagine a plane of 300 people from Europe coming across the Atlantic on the Lufthansa plane now are not coming into Miami. They're not booking hotels. They're not rented cars. They're not going to the restaurants. They're not going to take a cruise. They're not going to Orlando. They're not going to hang out at the beach. Yeah, these are the folks that spend cash. These folks are spenders. More and more of these flights are getting canceled out. Now, at the moment, the game has been kind of a whack-a-mole game here. Well, this flight's canceled. We'll put people on another flight. We'll find ways to get them over there. Well, it's a diminishing number of seats that are beginning to appear here in certain areas. Certain flight corridors, seat counts are dropping, and that means planes are filling up higher, which means people are closer together. And then eventually there will be people denied entry and denied boarding because there just aren't enough seats to go around. And the question is, when will governments step up and say, we're shutting down our air system, we're shutting down our rails, we're shutting down our international travel, we're doing restrictions, we're doing this, we're doing that. Canada, the talk here. Now, the talk now, if you return to Canada, the worry is that you're going to have a 2-week quarantine all over again. Even if you're vaccinated, even if you're testing negative, you may have a mandatory 10 to 2 week shutdown for a minimum of 5 to 10 days, and you must pass 2 days in a row positive, have negative tests 2 days in a row at your expense. How many people want to take that deal on, especially with a family of 4 or 5? Give me a break. It's just not going to happen. This thing is out of control. That is the story. I hate bringing you these. I don't like doing this. People say you're just a downer all the time. I'm just telling you what is going on. 16 ships on Royal Caribbean have cases right now on board their ships as we speak. And I don't think it can be stopped. Carnival is got issues. Norwegian is just trying to ramp up in North America. We already know MSC has had issues. And it goes on and on and on. So will cruises be canceled? I don't know. Will cruises be honored as far as the stops you were hoping to get to? I don't know. Will the CDC put a stop to it? I don't know. What will be the restrictions with regard to how many passengers will be allowed on a ship starting tomorrow, next week, next month? I don't know. Is the entire industry going to be shut down again like before? I don't know. And does your insurance cover everything that I've just talked about? If you folks have travel insurance, cruise insurance, any kind of insurance, health insurance, you've got to talk to your agents. You may not be covered for half of these issues. You might be vulnerable for the entire cost of your trip. I have no idea. I will try to keep you posted as best I can. I can't get on. I'm not getting on a cruise ship right now. I don't want to wear a mask for the entire experience. It's just not what I'm looking for. It's not what I call a good time for me to be on, in effect, a hospital ward type cruise. It's just not what I'm interested in. I want things more back to normal, and there you have it. There's your update for this morning. I'm up here now 18 minutes just yapping away, telling you what I hear, and I'm sorry I can't be Mr. Happy and give you happy good news. I just don't have it. Thank you everyone for watching us here and being here. I'm sorry I'm not answering any comments. I'm just doing this report, and we'll try to keep you posted on what's going on. In the meantime, Merry Christmas? Question mark. Merry Christmas. Please have a good holiday. Stay healthy for me. Don't get ill out there. Get your shots. Get your boosters. Take care of yourselves, and give your family. If you're getting together with friends and family, give them an extra hug. But be careful keep the mask on, okay? And we'll talk to you later, everybody. We'll try to keep you posted. Thank you so much for all your support of this channel and my other channel, Stock Markets with Bruce. We'll keep you posted on what's going on. You guys take care, and I hope to see you soon. I mean it, soon, on a cruise ship. I can't wait to see you guys on a cruise ship. All right, everybody. Bye for now. Take care. See you later.